Joining us today is Kandice Hendricks, a seasoned DevSecOps architect and cloud strategist whose career spans healthcare, government contracting, and financial services, consistently delivering secure, scalable solutions across AWS, Azure, and OCI environments. A certified Azure DevOps engineer expert and AWS solutions expert, Kandice brings a rare combination of deep technical credentials and cross-industry versatility, plus an unforgettable backstory as a former NHRA crew mechanic and Texas State powerlifting champion. That makes her one of the most dynamic voices in cloud and security today. Wow, that is a mouthful. That is amazing.
Yeah, that's all it is. Thank you for that introduction. I have been very fortunate. I've done a lot of amazing things in my life, and partly because fear isn't something that I really possess. So I just jump in. I love learning new things, and I love growing my experience, whether it be technical or outside of that. It's just love to learn.
Outstanding. So, what moment in your career has taught you the most?
So I think my shift, I was working as director of marketing at an architectural firm. And because I was doing marketing, I was doing the go-to-market brochures, I was doing the web design and things that are kind of in the arena of IT anyway. So it was natural for me to take on the role too of their IT person because they didn't have one. It was a smaller company. They couldn't afford one. And before you know it, I had computers apart at my desk. I was changing jumpers on network cards to get the network fixed. And during that same time, I actually met my mentor. His name was J. Scott Kelly, and he's still my mentor to this day. And he was a consultant at Accenture doing like a million computer endpoint rollouts. So he knew his stuff in and out. Gave me my first set of MCSE books. We started chatting. I started describing an issue we were having on the network with like collision. It was really slow. And so we started hashing out what that could be. And he helped me create a presentation to give to management on what they could do to improve the network. I ended up leaving due to personal reasons and moving back to California during that time. And I later contacted the business and said, hey, did you guys ever implement, what I suggested? And they did, and it fixed everything. And so that point in my career was what really shifted me into IT. And it's just been a multitude of people helping me along the way that's attributed to my success. And I think part of that is just my attitude. I don't quit. I don't stop. I'm optimistic. That team player that a lot of people look for at their business.
Outstanding. Well, that actually ties perfectly into our next question. When your colleagues or team members describe you, what three words do they consistently use?
So I definitely say I'll do what it takes to get the job done. Optimism is definitely in there, and most likely team player would be a sentiment across the board.
Well, that sounds like you. And I've only known you a short time, but absolutely, I would agree. Outside of your professional achievements, what passion project or personal interest has taught you skills that make you better at what you do?
So the weight training definitely I can relate that to work because there's a certain level of like self-discipline and initiative that goes into like weight training and doing stuff like that. And I also train horses now too. So patience, you learn a lot of that. We rescue dogs as well. So, and all of that comes with patience and just fortitude. So I've been able to transition a lot of what I've learned in my private hobbies and life into how it can be a benefit to my career path.
Outstanding. So you kind of already talked about your mentor. Do you want to move past that one because you kind of already talked about it, or would you like to, did you want to go further into it or another person?
Sure. I have a few more I'd like to mention.
Sure.
One, the boss that I had of all times, David Jones, we called him Jonesy. He taught me what a good leader looks like. And that is someone with empathy, with the ability to enable you to be yourself without judging you. And so that's really what I've strived to be as far as a leader. Like, people are people. We all make mistakes, and you don't know what each one of us is dealing with. So you can't take things personal. It's just, he really taught me a lot. And I've been striving to find that manager ever since. I can't get him to leave and be my manager again, but it was just awesome learning from him. Another former colleague I had introduced me to AWS through hiring me at a startup that I had zero experience on. Like, I knew nothing about AWS. I told her I didn't know anything about AWS. And her comment was, I know you. You can do this. And I said, well, you're right. I'll learn it. No big deal. And so before you knew it, I was peering BPCs and doing DevOps and Packer and Mesos clusters. And it was just that I had already made my mark, that she invoked me to join. So I
Outstanding stuff.
appreciate that.
What book or podcast has influenced you?
So there's two books that have really influenced my career path, and one is Radical Candor. In fact, reading that was like, I could have wrote the book. It's all about teaching you empathy, teaching you to connect with people. That's the most important piece. Like, it's how to be a leader, or even how to work for someone and challenge them and have the confidence to say, no, that's not right. Or did you think about this? Because this is something that you should really consider. And so my learning through that book was really helpful in my career path, as well as the Four Agreements. So the Four Agreements, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the one agreement that really, or principle that really stood out for me in that book is, don't take anything personally. And that was a hard thing for me to learn as a female, because, not to throw gender into this, but women are more sensitive to maybe something critical. And this goes back into what I was saying earlier. You don't know what someone's going through or what someone's past is. So the way that they're reacting to you, you can't take that personally, because it may have absolutely nothing to do with you. And that was a real eye-opening statement for me to learn. And so that's really helped guide the way that I work as well. And the other three agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions. We all know what assume means. And always do your best. And if you follow those four principles, I think that you'll really be successful in life and work.
Those are great. If you could spend a day learning anything from anyone, living or historical, who would that be and why?
I just couldn't pick someone that, like, maybe Gandhi, or someone that was Martin Luther King, or someone that just, Morgan Freeman. I love him and his principles. People that learn and teach peace
Mm-hmm.
is inspiring to me. I like learning from those type of teachers.
Outstanding. What do you see as the future of your industry?
So agentic AI, that's a serious focus of mine right now. And what is agentic AI? So you have your agent AIs like ChatGPT and things like that. Agentic AI is like AI in action and automation with no human intervention. Now, the key takeaway is there's 100 AIs. There's 100 ways to tie AI to AI. But you have to understand these before you go implementing them, because you're opening up security doors if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to use them. So I think that's a key focus for a lot of businesses moving forward. And in addition to that, PQC, migration strategies. How are we going to deal with quantum computing once it hits, addressing the encryption frameworks that are all going to break when that hits. So post-quantum cryptography is definitely something that I think businesses really need to start preparing for today so that they're ahead of the game down the road.
Yeah. I mean, once the door is open, everything that has been transmitted over the last who knows how long will now be able to be unencrypted quite quickly. So it's going to be a major challenge. So fascinating stuff. I can't thank you enough. I think this was a wonderful conversation. Obviously, you have an incredible head on your shoulders and a great will to work and a great work ethic. So I know any company would be glad to have you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. Have a great day.
You too.
MTMG, guidance that empowers.